Well, no prescription is required. It's important to remember that science is all about the slow accumulation of evidence and the gradual evolution of understanding, which sometimes involves confirming time-honored truths. Yes, fruits and veggies really are good for us, just like they were last week and will be next week. If you put too much stock in the latest media report about what is or isn't good for you, or what truly increases or decreases your risk of developing a particular disease, you may end up with a terminal case of health information whiplash. At some point, you may throw up your hands in frustration and tune out the messages entirely, even when they're valid. Clearly, that's not the way it should be. Contrary to what common assumptions in the media sometimes lead us to believe, our genes do not determine our weight or future health. What they do is to tell us about our risks of developing certain diseases. It's about possibility. Nothing is set in stone. Our DNA simply cannot forecast that we will get a particular disease unless it's one that's caused specifically by a genetic mutation, such as Huntington's disease, cystic fibrosis, or sickle cell anemia. We are actually the ones driving the bus on our journeys toward wellness or illness, so don't blame your genes for the future of your health. Most diseases are not random occurrences, but the consequences of the things people do every day. They are the intermediate step between lifestyle habits and infirmity or death. This means that the leading causes of death and disease are largely within our control because they result from what we do or don't do with our feet, our forks, and our fingers. Namely, whether we're physically active, consume a healthy diet, or smoke on a daily basis. With few exceptions, that's the new rule that's been established by groundbreaking research, and it's the central premise of this book. As you've just heard me say, there's now abundant evidence that getting just 4 things right, not smoking, maintaining a healthy weight, being active, and eating well, could reduce the risk of all chronic diseases by 80%. That's right, 80%. There are 4 things on the list, but by eating well and being physically active, you'll set yourself up for a healthy weight. So you really need to focus only on 3 things, with the final one being not smoking. It's a realization that could, in my opinion, should, remake the way we play the game of life by inspiring us to make better lifestyle choices. If you do it right, you can write a new story for your future right down to the genetic level. To a preventive medicine specialist like me, this is of profound importance because apathy and fatalism are among the biggest enemies of health and healing. Becoming a doctor was a natural choice for me. My father is a doctor, and I knew I wanted to do something that mattered, that felt challenging and rewarding. During my training, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what kind of doctor I really wanted to be, and I couldn't help but notice that roughly 8 out of 10 hospitalized patients had serious illnesses, all of which could have been prevented by exercising, eating well, or not smoking. It seemed tragic to me that these people were suffering and shortening their lives, when a more healthful lifestyle could essentially have immunized them against such misery. It was then that the path to my life's work became clear. I started investigating how a doctor becomes an expert in using lifestyle as medicine, and how best to leverage nutrition, in particular, to help people avoid getting sick in the first place. The rest, as they say, is history. I've been an internist and a preventive medicine specialist ever since. I rely on both aspects of my training to take care of existing patients and to try to help as many people as possible avoid becoming my, or any other doctor's, patients in the first place. Rewrite your future. The fact is, healthful behaviors create an opportunity to reshuffle the genetic deck in your favor. After all, genes don't affect your health because they're there. They represent a recipe for biological material, including specific proteins that turn those genes on or off, that needs to be made in order to set a disease course into motion. You can change the behavior of your genes, essentially dialing their expression up or down by modifying your lifestyle. Just because you carry a gene that makes you vulnerable to colon cancer or lung cancer, for example, doesn't mean you'll inevitably develop the disease. If you exercise regularly, stick with a healthy diet,